Hello, everybody. This is Sinailing. How are you guys doing? Um, I'm going to go on ahead and continue on and give you the air suits. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys how to read the air suits. And like I said, a lot of this is based off of your own interpretation. There are no right or wrong answers. There's nothing wrong with being a little more creative, you know? So, Ace of Suits. Ace of Suits. Ace of Suits. I don't know why I had to say that, but the Ace of Air. Ace of Swords. Ideas, knowledge, wisdom, the beginning of it. Um, Illumination. We can actually say it is about that. You can say that it's about illuminating the truth, revealing the truth, or just simply the truth alone. Triumphant injustice. And every time I look at the ace cards, whether it's the ace of wands, the ace of cups, the ace of swords, and the ace of pentacles, every time I look at them, I always get this triumphant energy. But I only say that because, quite honestly, if you look where the hand is, it's enlightened. Okay? It's enlightened. So we have the ace of swords. Like I said, truth, triumphant injustice, the beginning of new ideas, communication, lack thereof. If it's in reverse, you get to have a crown here. Okay, so the Ace of Swords could be the beginning of you opening yourself up to be more vocal, to be more thoughtful. I say thoughtful because this is the uh, air card, and I'm going to get into more details about these cards as well. So yeah, I'm going to breaking all of these down. Right now we're going through the major arcana to the minor arcana. Then we break the minor arcana down into 4 different suits, which is fire, water, air, and earth. Then I'm going to tell you how to use it as a compass, I think. Because if you think about it, okay, so let's just go ahead and skip to the point. Okay, so I'm going to get into more details about these cards. And I'm going to put it all into a video. So you'll be getting Tarot 101, how to read it, how to connect it, how to divine it, how to interpret it, because once again, there are no right or wrong answers. You know, we all have different perspectives on how to read or to interpret the cards. As long as it resonates with your soul or with your querent or your client's soul, then that's all that matters. But yeah, like if I wanted to simplify this card, it would be revealing the truth. It would be triumphant injustice and illumination. In other words, to reveal what is being kept hidden within the mind. 2 of Swords can represent indecisiveness. It can represent a person being on guard. It could be about someone contemplating on taking action, trying to figure out which action they are in need of taking. This could also represent someone who is unaware of how their actions affects other people or how people's actions affects them. Hence the block card. Now, this also represents stalemate and deadlock. Okay. Three of Swords, simply, we call this the heartbreaking card. Heartbreak, heartache, traces among partners. Who's going to have their heart be broken? Four of Swords is definitely about contemplation, but this could also symbolize resurrection, considering that every time you look into the Four of Cards, depending on where the creator is heading with the imagery of the Four of Swords, sometimes you can assume, or it would be safe to assume, that they could be in a casket or in a cemetery, or they could be on their deathbed, or they can be, it variates. So like I said, no right or wrong answer. But this card actually does represent rest and the heartache of trying to keep yourself immobilized. Like, if you want to get to the truth, you have to stand still. And because you got three cards right above this person and one sword, did I say three cards? I meant three swords. You got three swords above this man and one sword lying right underneath him. So chances are he's being enforced to rest, but at the same time he is prepared to take action whenever he needs to, or whenever he has to. And you can see that he is in his prayer mode as well. Five of Swords, betrayal. Six of Swords, moving forward, getting out of the darkness and moving into the light. Escaping or using someone as an scapegoat. Okay. Or even travel. Seven of Swords. From my experience, I usually experience this card. I usually am told that this card through book means things not having to go as they anticipated. But I just call this the thief card because you're literally are just taking something from someone else. From the Ghost Tarot, I forgot who the author of that deck is, but from the Ghost Tarot, this symbolizes disarming your enemies. Eight of Swords represents entrapment or self-entrapment, bondage, and for you adults out there, BDSM or SMS. I don't know much about that stuff, but I know that 50 Shades of Grey and 365 days really shows you the Eight of Swords if you want a best depiction of what Eight of Swords actually means. So the Nine of Swords is anxiety, panic attacks, dealing with nightmares, and so on and so forth. Worry, panics. Ten of Swords is everything coming to an end. And here goes the court cards. Okay. So Page of Swords can symbolize a troublemaker. It can also symbolize a kid who is an air sign, like Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, I believe. Career-wise, his future would be in the law. Okay. And it depends on what's above, below, or what's next to this card. whether it's forwards or backwards. Knight of Swords, swift action, never thinking before you act, never thinking before you speak, because this is also the communication card, because the communication comes from your brain. We think it's the vocal cords, our throat, the throat chakra, but really it's the mind, the crown chakra, as well as the part of our brain that allows us to communicate. So it's still mental rather than having it to be just something that's innate and it's just there because it's supposed to exist. Well, if you lose whatever part of the brain that allows you to communicate, then just because you have a vocal cord doesn't mean you can communicate. Chances are you're going to wind up mute. You're going to wind up mute, deaf, or blind because that part of your brain is missing or is immobilized or is being blocked from actually doing what it was supposed to do. It's almost like the neurotransmitters. When you feel pain, when you burn yourself, your neurotransmitters transmits from your brain to the part of your body that has been burnt, whether it's right here or your thumb or your foot or your leg. Whichever part of your body is supposed to experience pain because of the injury, the brain shoots it and then it spikes up the pain. Okay, so when you turn those transmitters off, you can't truly feel pain. Hence why we have sedatives or narcotics to help us deal with pain. Okay, I think methamphetamine might be one of them. There's a serious medicine and that is very powerful, but it still doesn't help with shit because it's temporary. Morphine, the most powerful sedative to help you block your mental transmitters from telling you to feel pain. So morphine is the block per se that prohibits you from experiencing pain. All right, and it's temporary, so you probably have to take one a day. Sometimes some doctors say take 2 a day, but then they lower your dosage or increase your dosage depending on how often you're supposed to actually take your medicine. The more you take your medicine, the lower the dosage, I believe. The less time you take your medicine, the higher your dosage. I could be wrong about it, but it just makes sense. But that's how your mind works. So your brain is literally the only thing that keeps your body literally animated. Okay, so if you get shot in your head, there's going to be a certain time frame for your body to continue responding to your brain until it shuts off, because your brain is no longer active and is trying to reproduce its cells and itself to regenerate the parts of your brain that it has been damaged. So its main priority is to heal the part of your brain that has been damaged. That is the focal point. Self-regeneration. Why the older we get, the higher the chance we forget things, the higher the chances we lose our memories, whether it's Alzheimer's or dementia, or just due to taking medicines, or due to an accident, and we wound up having to take a piece of our brain off. Hopefully we can still communicate despite lacking parts of our brain, but if not, then we have to adjust to the reality that we can't do certain things that we used to. Okay, so in regards to the Knight of Swords, like I said, swift action. But this guy is very trustworthy. Just definitely justifiable. Definitely someone that you can rely upon. But it's a pro and a con, and I say this because he never thinks before he acts or speaks. So even if what he says is right and it winds up hurting somebody else's feelings, that's the price of being a swordsmith. And plus, being a swordsmith requires for you to never think. Otherwise, it'll prohibit you from acting, especially when it comes to making a decision that you know you're going to have to make. You know, it comes with a price. Queen of Swords is all about the subtle version of justice. You can call her the mentalist, I suppose. Someone who's really good at orchestrating or strategizing or tactizing situations. She's definitely the more subtle aspect of the King of Swords. The King of Swords, the physical, intangible aspect of the law. He's supposed to abide by the law, but in reverse, he doesn't. But upright, he does, and he believes in the law firmly as well. And she's the more subtle version. She's the divorcee, possibly a single mother, maybe not. She's definitely someone that you can trust until it's in reverse, but that's how characteristics work. But they both believe in justice, whether it's physical, spiritual, mental, emotional. Physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional. Well, that's basically it. The concept of justice doesn't matter. What matters is that there is justice, and these two believe in it. Whether it's subconscious or conscious, tangible or intangible, realistic or unrealistic, optimistic or pessimistic, whatever aspect of justice, these two accommodate each other. So you're going to run into the court cards where the king and queen are just basically two halves of one coin. And it would be best to approach them as such rather than trying to approach them individually. And I might try to look some more information about the court cards, because that's the one that, unless you're doing readings about a particular person or a love life reading, then the court cards is really easy to misinterpret and misunderstand. But the approach for me would be to approach it like it's a characteristic, a career, or the frame of mind, I guess. So it's like career, love life, career, characteristic, and personality. These three, that's how I interpret the court cards. And then I interpret them as a actual person versus a personality most of the time. But you never really know. So, like I said, no right or wrong answer. It just depends on how you perceive your court cards. But I will be getting into more details about these court cards though. And I'll be sharing you the book. Well, not, let me scratch the air quotes. I'll be using the book to show you guys what the court cards actually mean. And what the other cards mean as well. And then I'm going to break it down from the ace cards to the 2 cards to the 3 cards to the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 14 and whatever. So know that. So there is going to be variations, but I did create a playlist for the tarot alone. So if you ever want to watch it, you can watch it. Okay? Please like and subscribe. If you're new, please subscribe. Actually, click that notification bell and also contribute to this community, because it helps me help you, and it also helped me help you help me. Okay, this is a sync and coexistent channel. All right, so please contribute. Okay, especially if you want this kind of knowledge. I'm going to dig deeper into this stuff as well. And I'm going to give you the book aspect of everything. And then I can only give you the best of my intuitions and my knowledge that I can possibly give to you guys. Okay? So also be sure to actually donate to my PayPal. I actually plugged it up. I'm going to plug it up again until I get my Zelle new, so that you can send me the money directly to my account. That way there won't be any complications, because there's always some technical difficulties if you don't like that. So yeah, there's going to be some options on how you can contribute. Okay, so peace out and have a beautiful day. Bye.